Tonight, a shooting in North York leaves one man fighting for his life in hospital. Another person is seriously injured. Witnesses reported hearing several gunshots. We'll have the latest from the scene. Plus,
it's all about him and what makes us work harder for him and to build a better future for him. And
families stretching themselves thin just to pay rent. A new report confirms living in the GTA is anything but affordable. And
washrooms outside in class if they can get away with it.
Some GTA schools have resorted to locking bathrooms to keep students from vaping in secret. But is it enough to get them to kick the habit? Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. Begin with some breaking news out of North York, where a shooting has left a man in critical condition fighting for his life in hospital. Our Kelda Yoon joins us now from Jane Street in Yorkwoods Gate. That's near Jane and Finch. So Kelda, fill us in on what happened.
Well, Mike, the shooting happened in this plaza right behind me here on Jane Street, just south of Finch Avenue West. It happened at around 8:30. Bystanders in the area said that they heard about 10 shots. Now, police have taped off the entire area. There's tape around the entire perimeter of this plaza. Now, when police got here, they found two victims, one with life-threatening injuries, the other with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Both were rushed to the trauma center where they remain tonight. Police say the shooting also did damage to some parked cars, and they have since retrieved some shell casings in the plaza. Forensic investigators, they are here. Police are here. The K-9 unit, they are also here. They will likely be here through the night. Earlier, community minister with the United Church of Canada, Barry Reeder, he was also at the scene, and he says he's saddened to see the rise in shootings across the GTA. And he said that in this area in particular, there is a huge problem of youth unemployment. Take a listen.
Yeah, a sense of frustration, and part of it is that we have to understand that youth employment is really important. Unfortunately, there's a high degree of unemployment here in the Jane Finch community, and a lot of it is race-based. So it's difficult for black male youth to find jobs and hold those jobs down. So we're just trying to create more economic opportunity for the youth so they don't get caught up in gang life.
Police have not revealed any further details about the victims or any potential suspects. As always, they are asking anyone with information or video to please come forward. And as mentioned, they will be here through the night holding this scene. I'll send it back to you, Mike.
Kelda, it's Kelda Yoon reporting live from Yorkwoods Gate and Jane Street. And this is the scene at Lawrence Avenue and Crockford Boulevard, just east of Warden in Scarborough, where a vehicle hit a man in his 50s just after 8 o'clock tonight. Paramedics rushed him to hospital in critical condition. Lawrence Avenue is closed in both directions between Warden and Crockford while police investigate. And we're learning more about the man killed in the shooting near Dufferin and Glencairn we told you about last night. Toronto police say his name is Vito Lapola. The 72-year-old was shot and killed outside a coffee shop last night. Police are still looking for a suspect. He's described as male, around 6 feet tall, and wearing all black. A white-colored SUV was seen fleeing the area northbound on Dufferin. A massive strike by auto workers in the U.S. is now affecting plants here in the GTA. General Motors sent home 1,200 workers from its Oshawa plant this afternoon. They were slated to work the afternoon shift, but GM says the U.S. strike is limiting the number of parts being shipped into Canada. It's also led to work stoppages at factories and parts warehouses in 9 U.S. states. GM says the Oshawa workers will be recalled once the U.S. labor situation is resolved. 49,000 auto workers walked off the job there over failed negotiations for a new 4-year contract. It is the biggest work stoppage by the United Auto Workers in over a decade. And a lack of parts is causing huge headaches for many Toyota drivers. The company is experiencing a huge backlog for deliveries, with some customers waiting months for their cars. Greg Ross has more.
You haven't seen your car in 45 days.
No, and I have no idea when I'll see the car.
Mohammed Shafi's 2017 Toyota Sienna has been parked in this lot at CarStar Brampton since the end of July, when he was involved in an accident. He was told the reason for the delay is that there are 7 parts on backorder from Toyota.
I do not know what those 7 parts are.
It turns out Shafi's van is not alone.
We're running out of spots where to put these cars.
Frank Sotile operates 2 CarStar locations in Brampton. He says back in June, they started having problems getting parts for Toyota and Lexus vehicles, which are made by Toyota. Since then, the waiting list has continued to grow.
We have over 20 vehicles that are sitting on our property, and we have probably close to another 20 vehicles that are out on the road that are driving damaged vehicles that we're waiting to schedule in until we receive those parts.
Sotile says at first, Toyota wasn't exactly forthcoming with an explanation for the delays.
At the beginning, there was no communication to why the parts were not coming in. They were just not showing up.
Which left CarStar to deal with angry customers on their own.
So our customers are blaming us. They don't realize that it's an issue from Toyota. They're bringing the car to us for repairs, and they think that because we're the ones fixing their car, that we're the ones holding their car back.
In a statement to the CBC, a representative from Toyota said Toyota Canada is currently undergoing a planned systems transformation. As a result, we are encountering some delays in parts deliveries. We are doing everything we can to minimize disruptions and return to our normal service levels as quickly as possible. But Shafi isn't buying it. He says if this was planned, they should have been prepared to deal with these kinds of issues.
They should have had a system in place which would have identified the individuals that were impacted by this change.
Shafi has been driving a rental car since his accident, but his insurance only covers a maximum of $1,500 for rental cars. He says after multiple phone calls to Toyota, he was able to get them to agree to pay the remainder of his costs. He says he would rather just have his van back, which he leases for $535 a month.
Why am I paying a lease, making lease payments on a car that I'm not using?
Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Colette Kennedy's here with a first look at the forecast. Can we just copy and paste today's forecast for tomorrow?
Actually, we kind of can do that.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to see this kind of trend continuing for us, Mike. I mean, there are a few little changes in the sky conditions, but hey, let's talk temperatures. Such a lovely day today. The readings just hovering a little bit above seasonal, very close to though. And we're going to see kind of similar conditions if we just check out what the highs will be over southern Ontario for Wednesday into the afternoon hours, 22 to 23, a little bit warmer Windsor. 25 degrees there, getting into the mid-20s and even warmer still into Thursday. 23 degrees, though, into the GTA. Then we start to warm up a little more significantly. So the end of the school week and work week, 26 degrees. We'll see that in Peterborough and Barrie as well. And Windsor popping up towards 27. And the humidity building as well as we get towards Friday and Saturday. So not just the temperatures, it really is going to feel quite summer-like as we get through those last few days of summer. These are some of the readings we're looking at into Saturday. In terms of the exact sky conditions, I'm going to have that later in the show. But I can tell you overnight tonight, a few clouds, and we'll hang on to those into part of the day tomorrow. So kind of a mix of sun and cloud, but at least dry. Not talking about active weather. And in terms of your sleeping conditions, 12 degrees, mostly clear skies overnight tonight. Those winds not even really a factor. And there you go. Tomorrow, almost cutting and pasting it, Mike.
Looks pretty good. Thanks a lot, Colette.
You're welcome.
Well, some disturbing numbers tonight show the extent that sky-high housing costs are affecting people in our city. It found many Toronto area ridings where renters were spending half of their paychecks on housing. Shannon Martin now on that strain that is placing on many families.
Are we hungry? Yeah.
Baby Jackson is just 11 days old.
As soon as there's kids in the picture, it's all about them, right? Like
It is. It's all about him and what makes us work harder for him and to build a better future for him and a better home for him.
Jessica Patello currently rents near Caledonia and Eglinton, but she's hoping to buy.
It's not like I'm asking to have, marble counters or, $100,000 worth of work. I just want something that's decent.
Easier said than done, buying or renting.
The rates that people are paying for rental housing are going up astronomically.
A new report released today suggests nowhere is that more true than in the GTA. Of the 20 ridings across Canada with the toughest rental markets, 11 are in Ontario. Toronto's Willowdale fares the worst. 39% of tenants there spend half or more of their income on rent.
To the next federal government, we say, ignore this issue at your peril. During this election, you have a chance to put forth your ideas, but then act on those ideas, whomever forms government.
A lot of people are struggling to find housing.
This morning, Jagmeet Singh announced an NDP government would build 500,000 new affordable homes over 10 years, starting with an investment of $5 billion. How his party would achieve that?
We're going to have a lot more to say, a lot more announcements around how we're going to do this, but it's a matter of choices, and we're going to do it.
NDP want to build 500,000 new homes. That doesn't work for Toronto because there's really nowhere to build new houses. There's a lot of condos being built.
This new mom just wants more concrete, immediate solutions.
For me, it's, we're going to do about the interest rates. We're going to do to make it easier for affordable housing.
Last week, the Liberals announced new help for first-time home buyers in hot markets like the GTA. And we know Conservative leader Andrew Scheer is planning to release his housing strategy sometime soon. Shannon Martin, CBC News, Toronto.
We want to make sure that the issues that are important to you are part of the campaign conversation. So reach out to us by email, phone, or on social media. You can get to us at gtaelection@cbc.ca, call us at 416-205-6000, or connect with CBC Toronto on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. We'll do our best to tackle the issues that matter to you and the GTA. And what we're talking about affordability, a new survey is showing the lengths that many are going to make some extra cash or just pursue their passion. It says 1 in 3 Canadians have taken on a side hustle, whether that's launching their own business or even working as an Uber driver. Philippe de Montigny explains.
By day, Jermel Pierre is the head of business development for a Toronto cannabis company.
Yeah, we got 15 seconds here.
By night, he's a fitness coach, working for his own side business, RX Fit.
For you to make ends meet, for you to be able to live a life that you want and also be prepared for retirement, you have to do a little bit more, and that side hustle allows us to do that.
And he's not alone. According to a new survey by Sage Canada, nearly a third of working Canadians manage or engage in a side business on top of their day job.
It was almost half, 49% actually. They're looking for a more flexible work environment.
Sage Canada's managing director says millennials form the largest demographic to embrace this new trend of work and start side gigs.
The barriers to entry are lower, so that millennial crowd who is much more driven by getting satisfaction out of what they're doing, they can decide what that means to them.
Both my partner Richard and I, we both have side gigs and side hustles, and we're careful with our money, and you have to if you want to have a little bit of freedom and flexibility in life, right?
Jason Pelletier works for a Catholic school board and moonlights as a drag queen several nights a week.
I was able to clear off some debt, pay off the car quicker than what I was expecting to, and put a down payment on the house.
For many, it was as a side job to top up income.
The Bank of Canada's senior deputy governor says the gig economy has its own set of challenges, an unstable flow of income and limited bargaining powers for workers like Uber drivers and Foodora couriers.
But many of these workers indicate that they'd prefer more stability.
But for this young entrepreneur, having a side hustle has allowed him to pursue his passion.
The old notion was you get a degree, you get into one career path, and you stay in that career path for 40, 50 years, and then you retire. And that to me just sounds really boring.
Philippe de Montigny, CBC News, Toronto.
Locking bathroom doors, fining students who are caught. School boards are trying to crack down on an increase in vaping. Well, that story coming up. The mother of an Indigenous man from Thunder Bay, missing for the past 2 weeks, is desperate to find him. 30-year-old Charles Thomas Thompson was last seen in the North York area. His mother, Alana, a veteran police officer, has been here since Saturday, scouring the city, trying to find her son.
His inbox and his Facebook profile, all our messages remain unread or unseen. All his behavior is very much unlike him. He's never gone missing before.
Thompson was last seen at a Wendy's in North York. His father was the last person to hear from him back on September 3rd when he confirmed he had made it to Toronto. He's described as 6'3", 170 pounds with a slim build, brown eyes and short dark hair and a goatee. Well, as the number of young people vaping has exploded recently, so too has the problem of students using vapes in school. Now, administrators are taking drastic measures like fining students hundreds of dollars to try to get them to stop. Lorenda Redekop explains.
The signs are everywhere, inside and outside schools.
Washrooms, outside, in class if they can get away with it. Just when the teacher's not looking, and then just blow it in their shirt.
The school's really been cracking down because people try and hide in the bathrooms and do their vape, and the school's not happy about it.
See all the kids in the washroom all the time, walking in and out with their little jewels and whatnot.
We went inside Sinclair Secondary School to see the no vaping signs in the washrooms. We were surprised that a vice principal had to unlock the door for us. He told us they made the washroom off limits because of all the vaping happening there. He told us this washroom was down a more secluded hallway and that all others are open and accessible to students. He also said that from now on, they'd be leaving that washroom unlocked. The school board was surprised to hear it, but says it's not against policy.
They have to give the students alternatives. So if one bathroom's locked, they have to have other multiple bathrooms open in safe places that can be supervised.
I don't think they should do that because if I have a class right by the washroom, right, and it's locked, then I have to go all the way to a different floor near the cafeteria. That's the one always locked. Because every time I'm eating, I have to go pee and the washroom's locked. So I can't. I have to go walk all the way down.
School boards are also working with public health authorities. Students can be fined $305. In Durham, they laid 2 fines in 2018, 15 so far in 2019. In Toronto, they laid 4 charges last school year, none so far this year. Public health officials want tighter rules around advertising and packaging, but students aren't just buying in the stores.
A bigger concern to us is actually the online sales, which has very, very limited control.
Students are also aware of the health issues and deaths south of the border connected to vaping, and some told us that's one reason they're not taking up the habit.
I play hockey, so I don't want to, I hear it's bad for your lungs, so I don't want to lose my breath and die of it at a young age.
Lorenda Redekop, CBC News, Whitby.
Well, Kevin Biggio does what only 3 Blue Jays have ever done before, hit for the cycle. We'll have highlights from the biggest game of his very young career after the break.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
Colette Kennedy is back with her extended forecast. Now I want to know how long this stretch of weather is going to last.
You and everyone else, me too, and it's my job to tell you. But you know what happens? We all know this. As we get into the longer range, the confidence levels, so the percentage of accuracy really starts to diminish. So it does look like this is holding into the weekend. The question is, does it hold right through? It's starting to look like maybe Sunday is going to be the day things change up and we get some showers coming back in. So this is how it is. Yes, the pattern holding for now. A little more cloud cover for tomorrow for midweek, not a big deal. And yeah, there it is. That late weekend, we get into that risk, and we'll show you how that looks as we get into the 5-day forecast here. Some of the daytime highs from today, just a tiny bit above seasonal, just so nice. The winds weren't terribly strong. There was a lot of sunshine, just really, really glorious weather. We see that into the overnight a little bit. See this little extra bit of cloud cover there that extends through cottage country, pushing over towards Peterborough region, down towards the north shore of Lake Ontario. And so we'll see more of a mix of sun and cloud at times, at least the cloud cover kind of changing up a little bit into the day on Wednesday, but it is still going to be a nice day and plenty of sunshine back into southwestern Ontario. Now, this next system that wants to approach, what's happening is this ridge of high pressure that's in place is kind of blocking it. And so what we'll see is most of this precipitation breaking up and having to move around the lower Great Lakes. So some really, really nice conditions we'll continue to see. Overnight tonight, these are your readings. Then back towards the Windsor area, Chatham, Kent, Leamington, and for tomorrow, what you're looking at, a little cooler, Sarnia, 24 degrees. Nice conditions. The humidity coming up a little bit. It's not too bad. It builds a little further as we get a bit deeper into this week. Overnight tonight, the readings for the GTA, and then dry conditions tomorrow. A good deal of sunshine with us once again. And there you go. Here's how that pattern goes. So the dew points start to come up as we get towards the end of the week. That's why I started putting the Humidex back in. Doesn't mean we won't have one Thursday, but it's not that significant. Thursday, 23 and sunshine. Friday, kind of partly cloudy skies, we'll call it, but feeling 29. Saturday, feeling again like 29 to 30 degrees. And yes, Sunday, late day. At this time, I'm bringing some showers in, so that may get adjusted a little bit as we get further into the week. 26 for the high to end off the weekend and the last weekend of summertime, Mike.
Looking like a nice stretch of weather. Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
Instead of Blue Jays highlights tonight, let's just get straight to the Kevin Biggio highlights. He had the game of his young career tonight against Baltimore, hitting for the cycle. Starts in the third. Bo Bichette there on first. He hits a towering shot to center. This is his 14th home run of the year. Puts Toronto up 3-2. In the sixth, he chopped a single through the infield, make it safely to first for his single there. Now in the eighth, the Orioles up 4-3. He rips a double to right there, manages to score. Later on in a sac fly, that would tie the game, safe at second. Then in the ninth, two men on. Biggio connects with the fastball. It goes right to the wall. He turns on the jets and eventually makes his way around, slides safely into third. He becomes the third Blue Jay ever to hit the cycle, joining Kelly Gruber and Jeff Fry. Now, Kevin's dad hit a cycle back in 2002. They become the second father-son combo to both do that. Oh, and by the way, the Jays won 8-5. And a new monument is paying tribute to former Blue Jays pitcher Roy Doc Halladay. It was unveiled today outside Jack Russell Stadium in Clearwater, Florida. That's where Halladay lived. He died back in 2017 when a small plane he was flying crashed into the Gulf of Mexico. He was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame earlier this year. And the Maple Leafs held their first preseason game in St. John's, Newfoundland tonight. Skip the third period. Leafs down by one. Mitch Marner with the takeaway rings his backhand off the post, but then seconds later, he has another steal, circles behind the net, spots Kasperi Kapanen out front. That would tie the game, but midway through the third, he gives the puck away. Ottawa capitalizes and scores. They'd add an empty netter and go on to win 3-1. The two teams will play again tomorrow night in Ottawa. We'll be right back. Well, the two mascots for the 2022 Beijing Winter and Paralympic Games were unveiled today at a ceremony in Beijing. Bing Duan Duan is a black and white panda. He's the mascot for the Olympics. And a red and white lantern child named Shui Ronron is the mascot of the Paralympics. The mascots were chosen following a competition held by the organizing committee. They received close to 6,000 designs from around the world. The Winter Olympics begin in February of 2022, with the Paralympics starting a month later in March. And once again, CBC will be carrying those games right here on CBC television. Before we go, if you're looking for a new weight loss routine, why not play chess? Tomorrow on The Current, Grandmaster Maurice Ashley explains why the special rigors of chess mean some players can burn more calories than tennis players during a match. You can hear that at 9:30 on CBC Radio 1. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Good night.